Chapter 1. Awakening in the Jungle. Ryan awoke in the lush, vibrant jungle of Astron 11, his head throbbing with each heartbeat, sending painful waves through his skull. Disoriented, he struggled to focus on his surroundings. Around him stretched foliage in impossible shades of purple and blue, and the air was thick with humidity, carrying scents he couldn't recognize. "Where am I?" he mumbled hoarsely, attempting to sit up only to be forced back down by dizziness. A soft meow caught his attention. Turning his head, he spotted a familiar feline face peering at him with bright green eyes. "Bob," he said instinctively, though he couldn't remember why the name felt significant. The orange tabby approached, rubbing against Ryan's arm. At least he wasn't alone. As his vision cleared, confusion deepened. How had he ended up here? Why couldn't he remember anything beyond his name and his feline companion? Determined to find answers, Ryan pushed himself to his feet, swaying slightly as he surveyed the alien landscape. "We need to find help, Bob," he said, scanning the dense foliage for any sign of civilization. The cat meowed in response, trotting ahead as if he understood. They hadn't gone far when Ryan heard voices, distinctly female voices, approaching through the undergrowth. He froze, unsure whether to call out or hide. Before he could decide, a group of women emerged from the jungle. Ryan's jaw dropped. The women were undeniably humanoid, their bodies curved in all the familiar places. But their skin was a vibrant shade of emerald green that seemed to shimmer in the dappled sunlight. Their large, expressive eyes widened as they caught sight of him. "What is that?" one of the women exclaimed, pointing at Ryan. Another stepped forward, her brow furrowed. "It looks like us, but different." Ryan raised his hands in what he hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "Hello," he said cautiously. "I'm Ryan. I'm lost and I can't remember how I got here." The women exchanged rapid glances, speaking in a language Ryan couldn't understand. One of them, taller than the rest and with intricate silver markings on her arms, approached him slowly. "You speak," she said, her accent lilting and musical. "But you are not like us. What are you?" Thrown by the question, Ryan blinked. "I'm a human, a man. Don't you have men here?" The women's reactions ranged from confusion to fascination. The tall one with the markings shook her head. "We have never seen a man before. You must come with us. Our elders will want to examine you." "Examine?" Ryan took a step back. "Look, I just need help. I'm lost, and I can't remember anything." His protests were cut short as two of the women grasped his arms, their grip surprisingly strong. Bob hissed, his fur standing on end. "The creature," another woman exclaimed, pointing at the cat. "We must bring it too. They seem connected." Before Ryan could object further, he found himself being half-led, half-dragged through the jungle. Bob trotted alongside, occasionally yowling his displeasure at the situation. After what felt like hours of trekking through dense foliage, they emerged into a clearing. Ryan's eyes widened as he took in the sight before him. A sprawling settlement of organically curved structures rose from the jungle floor, seamlessly integrated with the surrounding nature. The buildings seemed to be grown rather than built, their surfaces a mix of living plant matter and some kind of iridescent material. As they entered the settlement, Ryan became acutely aware of the stares. Everywhere he looked, emerald-skinned women stopped what they were doing to gawk at him. Some pointed, others whispered behind their hands. A few brave souls reached out to touch him as he passed, only to be shooed away by his captors. They led him to a large domed building at the center of the settlement. Inside, the air was cooler, and the walls seemed to glow with a soft, pulsating light. Ryan was brought before a semicircle of older women, their skin a deeper shade of green, and their silver markings more elaborate. The tallest of his captors stepped forward, addressing the elders in their musical language. Ryan caught his name mentioned several times, along with gestures toward his body and face. Finally, one of the elders, a woman with long, flowing silver hair, spoke in a language Ryan could understand. "I am Xena, leader of our people. You claim to be a man. Explain yourself." Ryan swallowed hard, acutely aware of the scrutiny he was under. "As I told the others, my name is Ryan. I'm a human, a man from... well, I'm not sure where I'm from. My memory is foggy. I woke up in your jungle with no idea how I got here." Xena's eyes narrowed. "And what is your purpose here?" "I don't know," Ryan admitted. I can't remember anything about my past or how I arrived. The last thing I remember clearly is waking up with my cat, Bob." He gestured to the feline, who sat licking his paw, seemingly unperturbed by the strange surroundings. A murmur rippled through the assembled women at the mention of Bob. Xena leaned forward, her gaze intense. "This creature is yours. What is its function?" Ryan blinked, thrown by the question. "Function? He's my pet, my companion. Doesn't anyone here keep animals as companions?" The concept seemed to baffle the women. One of the elders whispered urgently to Xena, who nodded before addressing Ryan again. "We have much to learn about you, Ryan man. You will be kept here for study." She gestured to a younger woman with bright, curious eyes. "Mirrit," she said, "will be responsible for your care and examination." Mirrit stepped forward, her gaze roaming over Ryan with undisguised fascination. "I am honored, Elder Xena. I will learn all I can about this man and his companion creature." Ryan felt a flicker of panic. "Wait, you can't just keep me here. I need to figure out where I came from, how to get back." Xena held up a hand, silencing him. "You yourself say you do not know these things. Perhaps our examination will help restore your memory. For now, you will stay. Mirrit will see to your needs." With that, the elders filed out, leaving Ryan alone with Mirrit and a handful of guards. Bob wound himself around Ryan's legs, purring loudly. Mirrit approached, her head tilted to one side. "You are a fascinating creature, Ryan man. I have so many questions. First, tell me about your skin. Why is it not green like ours?" Ryan sighed, resigning himself to his role as a living science experiment. "Where I come from, skin comes in many colors, brown, black, white, and shades in between, but not green as far as I know." Mirrit's eyes widened. "Remarkable. And your body structure? It's similar to ours in some ways, but so different in others. These protrusions on your chest." She reached out to touch Ryan's pectoral muscles, causing him to step back. "What purpose do they serve?" "They're just muscles," Ryan said, feeling increasingly uncomfortable. "Look, Mirrit, I appreciate your curiosity, but this is all a bit overwhelming. Is there somewhere I can rest and maybe get some food and water?" Mirrit nodded, looking slightly abashed. "Of course. Forgive me. I'll show you to your quarters. We've prepared a space that we hope will be suitable." As they walked through the settlement, Ryan couldn't help but marvel at the architecture. The buildings seemed to pulse with life, their surfaces shifting subtly in the fading daylight. He noticed that many of the structures were interconnected, with no clear delineation between public and private spaces. "Here," Mirrit said, gesturing to an opening in one of the smaller structures. "This will be your home while you're with us." Ryan ducked inside, finding a space that was both alien and oddly comforting. The walls were soft and slightly yielding to the touch, glowing with a warm amber light. There was a depression in the floor that he assumed was meant to be a bed, filled with what looked like impossibly soft moss. "It's interesting," Ryan said diplomatically. "Thank you," Mirrit beamed. "I'm glad you find it acceptable. Food and water will be brought to you soon. Tomorrow we'll begin our examinations in earnest." As she turned to leave, Ryan called out, "Wait, Mirrit. I need to understand more about where I am, this planet, your people. Can you tell me anything?" Mirrit paused, considering. "Our world is called Astron 11. We are a peaceful people, living in harmony with our environment. Beyond that," she shrugged, "what more is there to know? We exist, we thrive. Until you arrived, we believed we were alone in the universe." With that, she left, the opening ceiling seamlessly behind her. Ryan sank down onto the moss bed, his head spinning with questions. Bob hopped up beside him, kneading the soft surface with his paws. "What have we gotten ourselves into, Bob?" Ryan murmured, scratching the cat behind the ears. "And more importantly, how do we get out of it?" As if in answer, a flash of memory seared through Ryan's mind. A glimpse of a sleek spacecraft, a sense of urgency, a mission of vital importance. But as quickly as it came, the memory slipped away, leaving him with more questions than answers. Chapter 2. Strangers and Secrets. Over the next few days, Ryan settled into a routine of sorts. Mirrit spent hours asking him about every aspect of his life, from the mundane to the deeply personal. Ryan did his best to answer her questions, though the gaps in his memory made some of them difficult. The women of the village, meanwhile, treated him with a mixture of curiosity and awe, as if he were some exotic creature rather than a person. Despite the oddity of his situation, Ryan found himself growing accustomed to the village's rhythm. The air was always warm, the skies clear and filled with vibrant stars at night. The women went about their daily tasks with a grace and purpose that was both mesmerizing and comforting. Yet, beneath the tranquil surface, Ryan sensed tension. Conversations would halt abruptly when he entered a room, and Mirit often seemed distracted, her gaze flicking toward the elder's dome as if expecting summons. One evening, as the sky turned a deep indigo, Ryan sat outside his quarters, watching the twin moons rise. Bob lay sprawled beside him, dozing. Mirit approached, a thoughtful expression on her face. "May I join you?" she asked, gesturing to the space beside him. "Of course," Ryan replied, moving over to make room. "You seem pensive tonight," Mirit sighed, settling beside him. "There are things you must know, Ryan man, things the elders do not speak of." Curiosity piqued, Ryan turned to face her. "What kind of things?" "Our world, Astron 11, is not as isolated as we have been led to believe. Long ago we had contact with others, different people, from different worlds. But something happened, and the contact ceased. We have been told it is better this way, to focus on our own survival and growth." Ryan nodded, absorbing the information. "But you think differently." Mirit hesitated, then nodded. "Yes. I have always wondered what lies beyond our skies. Your arrival. It proves that there is more out there. I want to know what happened to those we once spoke with. Why did we turn inward?" Ryan thought back to the brief flash of memory, the sense of urgency that had come with it. "Mirit, I think I was part of a mission to find something, maybe even to make contact. I can't remember the details, but it was important." Mirit's eyes widened. "Then perhaps your coming here is no accident. The universe has a way of guiding us toward answers, even if we do not understand them at first." They sat in silence for a while, watching as the moons rose higher in the sky, casting pale light over the village. Finally, Ryan spoke again. "Mirit, if there is a way to regain my memories, I need to find it. I have a feeling that my being here is part of something bigger, something that affects not just me, but your people too." Mirit nodded slowly, determination settling over her features. "I will help you, Ryan man. Together we will uncover the truth, but we must be careful. The elders are wary of change, and they will not easily allow disruptions to our way of life." Ryan felt a surge of gratitude and relief. "Thank you, Mirit. I appreciate your help." As they sat beneath the stars, Ryan felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps, with Mirit's assistance, he could unravel the mystery of his past and find his way home. For the first time since waking in the jungle, he dared to believe that answers were within reach. Yet, as he drifted off to sleep later that night, the unease lingered. What secrets lay hidden in the past of Astron 11? And would he be ready for the truths he might uncover? Before proceeding, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Chapter 3. A Quest for Truth. The following morning, Ryan awoke with renewed determination. If he was going to uncover the truth, he needed to learn more about Astron 11 and its history. With Mirit's help, he hoped to find clues that would trigger his memories and shed light on the mission he could barely recall. After a quick breakfast, Ryan and Mirit set off toward the edge of the village, where a sprawling structure made from the same iridescent material as the rest of the settlement stood. "This is our library," Mirit explained as they approached. "It contains records of our people's history, though many are fragmented or incomplete." The library was a labyrinth of twisting corridors lined with shimmering shelves. Each shelf held an assortment of objects that glowed with their own inner light, crystals, discs, and other items Ryan couldn't identify. Mirit led him to a section labeled Histories and began examining the shelves. "These are the oldest records we have," she said, gesturing to a collection of pale blue crystals. "But be warned, some information is missing or erased. Our ancestors left many gaps." Ryan picked up a crystal, turning it over in his hand. "How do you read these?" Mirit took the crystal from him, holding it up to the light. It emitted a soft hum, projecting an image into the air. Ryan watched in awe as scenes unfolded. Women with green skin and silver markings, much like those he had seen in the village. They gathered around strange machines, their faces alight with curiosity and wonder. "This is from the time before the Great Silence," Mirit explained. "We were explorers, eager to learn from other worlds and share our knowledge." Ryan listened intently as Mirit continued to describe the images. The scenes shifted, showing the construction of vast, sleek ships capable of traversing the stars. But as the projection continued, The images grew darker. A sense of unease and fear crept into the scenes. The women were no longer smiling and their faces were drawn with worry. "Something happened," Ryan murmured. "Something that changed everything." Mirret nodded, her expression grave. "We believe it was an external threat, an enemy who sought to destroy or conquer. The records are unclear, but whatever it was, it forced us to retreat, to sever our connections with others." Ryan absorbed the information, his mind racing with possibilities. Was this enemy still out there? Was his mission connected to their history, somehow aimed at rekindling lost connections? As they continued to explore the library, Ryan felt a growing sense of urgency. The more he learned, the more he realized how much was at stake. He needed to remember his mission and understand his role in this unfolding mystery. Hours passed as they pored over records, searching for anything that might provide answers. Yet despite their efforts, the key to Ryan's memory remained elusive. Finally, as dusk settled over the village, Mirret turned to him, her expression apologetic. "I am sorry, Ryan, man. We have found many pieces of the puzzle, but the picture remains incomplete." Ryan sighed, frustration gnawing at him. "It's not your fault, Mirret. You've been a tremendous help, but I can't shake the feeling that we're missing something crucial." Mirret placed a hand on his arm, her touch reassuring. "We will find it, Ryan, man. I am certain of it. We just need to keep searching, keep asking questions." As they left the library, Ryan felt a flicker of hope. He was no closer to regaining his memory, but he had allies in Mirret and the village women. Together they could piece together the truth, uncover the secrets of Astron 11, and perhaps even find a way to restore what had been lost. Yet, as they made their way back to his quarters, Ryan couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. Whatever threat had once loomed over Astron 11 might still be out there, waiting to strike. And if his mission was to stop it, he had to remember, before it was too late. Chapter 4. Memories Resurfaced. Ryan awoke the next morning with a start, heart pounding, as fragments of a dream clung to his consciousness. He had seen a ship, a sleek silver craft with a familiar insignia painted on its side. Faces had flashed before him, colleagues, friends, and a woman with striking blue eyes who seemed to call out to him. The urgency of the dream left him breathless, and he knew he had to delve deeper into his memories. Mirret greeted him outside his quarters, her expression hopeful. "Did you rest well?" Ryan shook his head, running a hand through his hair. "I had a dream. Memories, I think. There was a ship, people I knew. It's all so vivid yet so elusive." Mirret nodded, a determined look in her eyes. "We must act quickly. The elders have called a gathering today. It's an opportunity to speak with them directly and share what we've learned. Perhaps they can help trigger your memories," Ryan agreed, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Together they made their way to the central gathering space, a large circular area surrounded by lush vegetation and shimmering structures. The elders were already assembled, along with many villagers, all of whom watched Ryan with a mix of curiosity and expectation. Elder Xena rose, her silver hair catching the morning light. "Ryan, man, we gather here today to discuss your presence and the potential significance it holds for our people." Ryan took a deep breath, stepping forward. "Elders, I believe my arrival here is no accident. My memories are slowly returning, and I suspect I was on a mission connected to your history, a mission to re-establish contact with lost civilizations." A murmur rippled through the crowd. The elders exchanged glances, and Xena gestured for silence. "You have found fragments of your past?" "Yes," Ryan replied, "but they're incomplete. I remember a ship, faces, and a woman with blue eyes. We need to understand more about what happened before the Great Silence. If there's a threat still looming, we must prepare." Xena considered his words, then nodded slowly. "You speak with conviction, Ryan, man. We will assist you in recovering your memories, but there is something you must know. There is an ancient place hidden within the jungle, a place our ancestors used as a center for communication and exploration. It has been sealed for centuries, but it may hold the answers you seek." Mirret's eyes widened. "You mean the Temple of Echoes?" Xena nodded. "Yes, but it is dangerous. Few have ventured there, and fewer still have returned. You must proceed with caution." Ryan felt a thrill of anticipation mixed with trepidation. "I have to try. If the temple holds the key to my memories, it's worth the risk." The elders conferred briefly, then Xena spoke again. "Very well. We will provide you with guidance and support, but the journey is yours to undertake." As the gathering dispersed, Mirret approached Ryan, determination etched on her face. "I will accompany you, Ryan man. You should not face this journey alone." Ryan hesitated, concerned for her safety, but her resolve was unshakable. "Thank you, Mirret. I appreciate your help." Together they began preparations for their journey into the depths of the jungle, knowing the path ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty. But Ryan also knew it was a journey he had to undertake, not only to reclaim his past, but also to safeguard the future of Astron 11. Chapter 5. The Temple of Echoes. Armed with provisions and a rudimentary map provided by the elders, Ryan and Mirret set off into the dense jungle. Bob, as always, padded alongside, occasionally darting ahead to chase a fluttering insect or inspect an unusual plant. The air was thick with humidity, and the sounds of unfamiliar wildlife surrounded them, creating a symphony of alien noises. As they traveled, Mirret shared stories of the Temple of Echoes, how it had been a hub of knowledge and learning in ancient times, a place where information was exchanged between worlds. "It was said to house a vast library of knowledge," she explained, "but when the Great Silence fell, it was sealed to protect its secrets." Ryan listened intently, each tale heightening his anticipation. If it holds the answers, then we have to reach it. The journey was arduous, the jungle presenting numerous challenges, from treacherous terrain to venomous creatures. Yet Mirret navigated the landscape with ease, her familiarity with the terrain a boon for Ryan, who was still getting used to Astron 11's unique flora and fauna. After several days of travel, they finally arrived at the base of a towering cliff, its surface covered in vibrant vines and glowing flowers. A series of stone steps, worn by time and weather, led upward toward a massive structure carved into the rock face, the Temple of Echoes. Ryan felt a strange sense of familiarity as they ascended the steps, his heart pounding with anticipation. The temple loomed above them, its entrance flanked by statues of women with serene expressions, their hands raised as if in welcome. As they entered the temple, the air grew cooler, and the light from outside was replaced by a soft luminescence emanating from the walls. Mirret marveled at the intricate carvings and ancient symbols that adorned the stone surfaces. "This place is incredible," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. Ryan nodded, his attention drawn to the center of the chamber, where a large pedestal stood. Upon it rested a crystalline device, its surface pulsing with a gentle light. "I think that's what we're looking for," he said, moving toward it with a sense of purpose. As he reached out to touch the device, a surge of energy coursed through him, and his vision blurred. Images flashed before his eyes. The sleek ship, his colleagues, and the woman with blue eyes. He saw himself on a mission to reconnect lost worlds and forge new alliances. The vision shifted, revealing a dark presence, an enemy that sought to disrupt their mission and maintain the isolation of worlds like Astron 11. Ryan's heart raced as he realized the gravity of their situation. Suddenly, the images faded, and he was back in the temple, Mirret watching him with concern. "Are you all right, Ryan man?" Ryan nodded, though his mind was still reeling. "I remember now. We were part of a coalition, sent to rekindle the connections between worlds. But there was a threat, something that wanted to keep us apart." Mirret's eyes widened, understanding dawning. "Then your mission is more important than we realized. We must return and share this knowledge with the elders." Ryan agreed, knowing time was of the essence. The enemy he had glimpsed was out there, and they had to prepare. With newfound clarity and determination, he and Mirret began their journey back to the village, the future of Astron 11 and its people hanging in the balance. Chapter 6. A Race Against Time. As they retraced their steps through the jungle, Ryan felt a growing urgency. The visions had revealed the scope of the threat they faced, and he knew they had to act quickly to protect Astron 11 and beyond. Mirret sensed his tension and quickened her pace, her expression mirroring his resolve. They reached the village by nightfall, greeted by curious and concerned faces. The elders gathered quickly, eager to hear what Ryan and Mirret had discovered. Elder Xena listened intently as Ryan recounted his visions, the memories he had recovered, and the enemy they now faced. "This coalition, what can you tell us about it?" Xena asked, her tone both wary and hopeful. Ryan took a deep breath, organizing his thoughts. "It was formed to unite worlds that had lost contact during the Great Silence. We were to share knowledge, resources, and technology to ensure mutual growth and protection. But something or someone wanted to keep us isolated, using fear and misinformation to maintain the separation. Xena nodded thoughtfully. And you believe this threat still exists? Yes, Ryan replied, the certainty of his memories lending weight to his words. The enemy is out there, watching, waiting for any attempt to reconnect the worlds. We need to be prepared. A murmur of concern rippled through the gathered crowd, but Xena raised a hand for silence. Then we must act. Our isolation has kept us safe for centuries, but it is time to open ourselves to the universe once more. The elders conferred briefly, then Xena addressed the assembly. We will reach out to the other worlds, using the ancient channels of communication. It will be a risk, but one we must take if we are to secure our future. Mirret smiled, her expression filled with pride and determination. We can do this, Ryan, man. Together we will build a new alliance. Ryan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. I'll do everything I can to help. The knowledge from the Temple of Echoes will guide us. With the elders' blessing, preparations began immediately. Ryan and Mirret worked tirelessly, drawing on the knowledge from the temple and Ryan's newly restored memories to devise a plan. They would use the technology of Astron 11, combined with the knowledge Ryan possessed, to send a message to the lost worlds. As days turned into weeks, the village became a hive of activity. Structures were repurposed, ancient devices reactivated, and a sense of unity and purpose infused the community. Ryan marveled at the transformation, inspired by the resilience and determination of the people. One evening, as they took a rare break from their labors, Ryan and Mirret sat by the edge of the village watching the twin moons rise. Bob lay nearby, his eyes half closed as he basked in the warm glow. We're close now, Mirret said, her voice filled with hope. Soon we'll send the message and see who responds. Ryan nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. I just hope we're ready for whatever happens next. Mirret placed a reassuring hand on his arm. We are, Ryan, man. Thanks to you, we have a chance to change our future. Ryan smiled, grateful for her unwavering support. I couldn't have done it without you, Mirret. Your people are lucky to have you. As they watched the stars appear, Ryan felt a sense of peace settle over him. He had found a purpose on Astron 11 and a connection to its people that transcended his lost memories. Whatever lay ahead, he was ready to face it, knowing he was part of something greater than himself. The night stretched on, filled with possibilities and the promise of a new dawn. Ryan closed his eyes, his mind filled with visions of the future, a future where worlds once again stood united, ready to face the challenges of the universe together. If you enjoy this video, then don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell.